back to Unabashed Fans.
Hello.
We have a special guest today. Her name is Mare. You want to introduce yourself? Go ahead and introduce yourself, Mare. You can do it.
I can do it. Hi, I'm Mare. I live in the Central Coast, so in the wine region.
What?
That's why we love her.
So yeah, now surrounded
She
by
has a nice
fruit.
personality. She has a nice personality too. So
She
you
does.
know.
Like me. We're gonna be best friends by the end of this because of Bubbles.
We will. It's true. We went to high school together. We did not know each other though.
No.
And then we met later in life through mutual high school friends.
Yeah.
And I kept her. And I'm not friends with some of the other ones.
Because I'm better.
Duh.
Duh.
And I just know Mare thanks to COVID.
Yeah,
This is true.
this is true.
Between
This is
COVID
true.
and an 80s night at the Doceum.
That's like right there.
Yeah.
It was the glow.
Right there.
That's what made it.
I'm jealous. I didn't go to that.
Oh my God. So
You were
much
there
fun.
in spirit.
Yeah, totally.
Always. I haunt
Yes.
people's asses all the time. That's what I do. I just haunt ass.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
I love it.
So let's go over disclaimers. I'm very excited about this topic.
Yes, she is. Very, very
One of my
excited.
favorites.
So what bottle are you on?
I've had
It's just
a
her
glass.
fourth. It's just her fourth.
No, I've had one glass. Our disclaimers for Unabashed Fans. We are not kid friendly because Sarah cusses like a sailor. It's
Whatever.
all Sarah too.
I did good last time.
You did. You actually did good. We talked some porn though, so we're still not kids. It doesn't
So, yeah.
matter if you're cusses or not.
Unless you want to have those awkward conversations with your children.
Maybe you do. Maybe we're what's going to introduce you
Yeah.
to those.
We're going to start the topic. We start the topic.
We're here for you. 2, we drink, which is what leads to some of the cussing. And 3, we will delete any negative comments because this is our time to just have some joy. We don't need any negativity. We've got enough of that in our lives.
Yeah.
So we're past that.
And we do well enough on our own.
We do.
We don't need any help.
Anywhere else on the internet. Let's just have some fun with today's topic, which is what's my drum roll? Bubbles.
Tiny bubbles.
The sparkling wine. We're not talking just champagne. We're talking bubbles.
And do I have champagne?
Which leads me to this is why we actually had to have Mare on. She was going to be our third for every episode, but she's actually way too busy for us.
She's just- she has her own life.
OND.
It's all good. It's all good. We get it.
Yes.
We get it. We're low on the priority, but it's fine because this is our life. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk bubbles? I've been saving this bottle.
Already.
So leading to bubbles and sparkling wine in general, because she is our expert. Mara,
Yes.
what are you drinking today?
I am drinking a champagne. It's a Blanc de
Ooh.
Blanc.
Which is so funny because you were all like, I want to teach people that it's more than champagne.
I know. I
Hey,
know.
we got you covered, girl. We got you covered.
I know.
Don't worry.
Granted, I can pull an array right over here so I can show you different types of bubbles.
You might have to
It was the
clear-
one that it was in my refrigerator chilling. So, and I
That's the important one. That's
There you go.
always the important
There
one.
you go.
so yeah, I know. But I got it from last bottle. So I'm excited. I've never
Ooh.
had this. So I'm excited to try it.
Ooh, I love Last Bottle.
Yes.
Love it. I get there, go to when they have the marathon sales, because then it's like you could get one bottle and it's free shipping. It's
Oh,
worth it.
nice.
Anyway, I just did the last marathon sale in August. What's great about them is they did not ship it because it was too hot and it just came in this week. So if you do it, you want to be patient, but then you know you're not going to have this rotted, way too hot wine.
I just got
Yep.
mine this week too. I finally asked them to release it.
Oh. I was like, and again, not sponsored, but we will take any type of sponsorship.
You drinking, Sarah?
I haven't started drinking yet because I'm gonna wait to open, but I have
yeah.
Graveyard Ascender pomegranate.
Ooh.
So we love
Very
our
fancy.
Casa Robles.
It's sparkling grape wine.
Yum.
Where's it
Yeah.
from?
This one, it's the Graveyard.
Casa
Isn't that
Robles.
Paso Robles?
Casa Robles.
It's open, so I can drink.
All right, all right.
Oh wait,
Okay.
but what's Angela drinking? Because I always skip her.
She never asked. This is the first. So I am drinking PYT Pet Nat.
I know you said I'm drinking pee.
I'm not drinking pee.
This is what a mother of two boys is resorted to, drinking pee.
This is the PYT Pet Nat, which thanks, Mayor. It's from Wink, which is
You're welcome.
good. They've got great wine too, and they always have a good deal to join. But it's like I didn't need any more right now. I love a good pet nat. We can talk about it. It's more of like the natural way to do it.
Mhm.
And this one is unfiltered and raw, just like
Just,
So
just like you.
yeah, I have
Unfiltered. I get it.
Get what?
Actually,
some fun things. So as we start going, I can pull some things out to show y'all sparkling and pet
Okay.
nat and all that fun.
I do love a
Yes.
good pet nat. Look at this bubble.
Oh, hello. Okay, so tell me how to open this bad boy.
I opened mine first because you do want to open a pet nat over a sink because every once in a while they'll explode.
It'll
on
get
you.
you. It'll
Just a
get you.
little excited. Did you do 6 turns, Sarah?
I know I did a lot of turns.
Okay, you guys.
You do 6 turns,
Okay. Sure. I'm pretending.
and
On
then
the
you
cage,
twist
okay.
the bottle, never the cork.
Okay.
And always aim away from your face and other friends' faces because sometimes I always keep my hand on the cage when I'm unopening it because there's been times as I'm twisting, it has shot out in my hand.
Ooh, so you do keep the cage on.
Yeah.
I always feel like it digs into my hands, but I'm
And I made it pop and I tried not to, but there was a lot of pressure on it. I like to
Yes.
say you want to make a nun's fart
farts. Fart.
because as much as it is fun to make it go pop, pop, it releases a lot of the fun bubbles. So you try you try to make it go.
Yes.
I always say I want the whisper. Oh, look at it.
Yes.
It's got the beautiful coupe glass. We're
I
gonna
mean,
go
I'm gonna
there
bring out
for
the
you
fancy.
someday.
Come on, y'all.
I've got a beautiful
I got this at an
rose.
I got
antique
the-
store many moons ago, and it goes all the way down, which they normally don't.
Ooh.
Old school.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll cut that out.
Friendship. So Mare's the classiest with her like 1920s all the way down coupe. I've got a beautiful classic rosé glass, and then Sarah has the trailer park.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, it's the Brewmate one that keeps my bubbles.
I have
And it does.
I have the Brewmate one, and I love it. And I got it from my sister and my mom for Christmas last year. The champagne. Brewmate. I love
So
it.
hold up your glass again, because this is what's really fun. As you can see, all the bubbles are
Ooh.
dancing versus you have you still have bubbles,
Yeah.
but
They don't
That's-
dance.
there's nothing wrong with that. But it's definitely the different styles of sparkling wine and champagne and pet nat and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
It's you can start to tell the quality, not that that's bad quality,
That tastes
because
good.
it's delicious, but it's different methods. So this is like this is like the traditional way to make sparkling, so it's going to tend to have higher bubbles, and then you can also tell, I always think that's the best way to gauge on pricing as well. If you go and spend like a silly amount of money and then you don't have these beautiful bubbles, I say you didn't they took you for the run of your money.
So the more bubbles,
The
well, then
better.
that one Sandy Rhodes. I tried to
Technically.
open that Sandy Rhodes pet nat, and it was like,
An eruption.
So cheers, ladies.
cheers.
Cheers. So
To
happy
the
we got you.
holidays, to all the things. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You are an expert on all
Mhm.
things wine.
Fine. Oh yes.
Oh, we
We're
love
gonna
it.
we're gonna kidnap you off.
I'm ready to learn. Like I am ready to learn because I love bubbles. And my biggest thing is I hate that people want to only drink it for special occasions because
Oh.
it goes with pizza. It goes with fried chicken. It almost like
Yes.
I love it with Thai food. Like it's
Mhm.
so
Ooh.
good there pair with Thai food.
Right.
Now, I don't do the sweet as usual. This is about as sweet as I get. The Pet Nat at Sandy Roads tastes like mimosa in a glass without the extra calories. That's just the juice. Like, you don't want those calories.
This
Yes.
is delicious.
But this one is like just a really nice, smooth rosé, Pet Nat style. So when they say Pet Nat, it's just like the natural way, right, Mare? Like,
Right. So you bottle it and cap it while it's still in the middle of fermenting.
fermenting. And so
So
it's always a screw cap. It's not, you gotta, it's like a
Here,
beer.
I'm gonna step away real quick. Let me go into my office.
Oh, wait. She's going to her cellar. Doop, 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 doop.
I want to go live in her cellar
I know.
like a weirdo.
And here is a Pet Nat from one of my favorite winemakers. But if you can see, there we go.
Yeah.
See all that?
Sediment.
Like a bottle cap lid.
All the sediment. So I'm guessing this was not filtered, but this is from Dreamcoat. And she does amazing Pet Nats. And she hand watercolors all her own labels, but here's the cap
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
right here. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
I love her.
So you
And,
do store yours sideways,
Mhm.
like every other
Yeah.
bottle.
yeah.
'Cause I
And
thought
then you
maybe
can
'cause I
start
didn't store it
seeing-
upright.
So you start seeing it kind of dance in there because obviously I'm like shaking it up. It's not bad. Still good wine. It's just the
Yeah.
natural yeast and fermentation that's happening in there.
Mhm.
So obviously this would all go to the bottom once
Yeah.
I put it in the refrigerator.
So it's like raw and unfiltered. Like
Yes.
me. No wonder.
Well,
I love
and what's the lifespan? Like, how long can you actually keep a pet nat?
that's a good question.
Yeah, because
I mean, this is a 2020.
okay.
I would at least 5 years.
Oh, okay. So it'll
So
Okay,
you got to
that's good.
think, even though it's like a 2020, she didn't bottle this. Well, Pet Nats can happen pretty quickly, so she probably did
Yeah.
bottle this in 2020. But honestly, as long as you store them properly, most
key.
wines will be okay.
Yeah.
They're living things. That's
Mhm.
the best, like the best part about wine, and also the negative part about wine.
Yes.
From the moment it starts growing on a grapevine, it's a living thing. Even when it goes into the bottle, it's going to change literally day by day
Mhm.
because of
Yeah.
what's happening inside.
Mhm.
And that's what's really cool. I love when wineries have like vintage charts, because they'll
Mhm.
like some of them will go once a year and taste it, and they'll say like drink now, or like hold for 5 years, or hold for 6 months, because they have learned the life cycles of their wines.
Yeah, I do too, but I never hold mine for 5 years. I'll wait they say when it ships, like wait about 8 weeks.
100%.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I would wait, because what happens when your wine ships, it's literally like bouncing on a truck. And so it's like very upset.
I'm angry. Tell him I'm angry.
And so you want it to relax. Like, so I've gotten shipments where you like open it, it's like, please hold on to us for 4 weeks. You can drink it right away. It'll be okay, but it's going to be better if you
Better.
let it rest.
which
was like,
FYI,
Patience.
bouncing on a truck is Sarah's porno's name.
Hey.
But same thing with
Champagne
flying.
roommate by my side.
So when you fly with your wine, even though it's not bouncing on that truck, it's going through extreme pressure.
Pressures.
Yeah.
So granted, I always, when I fly anywhere, I always bring wine with me and I drink it and it's fine.
Do you know, like, I feel like the last few years, though, it's become a thing, like doing the pet nat thing. Do you know what kind of started that, or why now? Is it the timing? Is it just people are
A little bit
lazy?
of everything.
Oh,
So
natural.
fun fact, Pet Nat started even before traditional champagne was produced.
Yeah, that's what I
Older
said. It
than-
said in 1531 from the
Yeah.
monks.
See, I'm
Monks
I
were
tell you what
also
I'm talking
wrong
about.
and butchered.
She read.
know
She can read,
label.
people.
But it started happening because natural wine started becoming trendy. So that's
Yeah.
one way for people to produce natural wines.
Okay.
Two, it's also more cost effective. So
Yeah.
especially if it's a winery that's brand new, or like
See,
just
right.
trying to make some cost, they want to have a sparkling wine on their menu. This making it this way is by far more cost
effective
than
than
taking it this way.
This way.
For example, where I work, we're just now releasing we just released our first sparkling wine. It's a 2019. And so we probably would have liked to held it for another 8 months, but things cost money. So it
Yeah.
tastes delicious, but we bottled it. I started there a year ago and they had just bottled it, and it took us a whole year until we could release it. Because even though
Wow.
once you bottle it, you have to disgorge it. You have to add and 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 add. And then you finally have to cap them and reseal them. In the
Oh, wow.
There's a lot
It's
of
a
more
labor of
steps
love.
and all that.
It was like a labor of love.
It is a labor of love. Whereas you bottle this and you lay
And you're
it
done.
to rest for a little bit and you're done. Whereas, like I just said, they just bottled it a year ago when I started, and we just released it. So there was like a year of
2022.
product
But it's
sitting.
delicious. And in champagne or just sparkling wine, well, you can age that because my dad had gotten hubby and I a bottle for our wedding of Moet, and we saved it. I thought I stored it properly. It was in my wine fridge, and we saved it for the 10 years, and we opened it and it was disgusting. So maybe we got a bad bottle. Maybe I didn't store it correctly, but normally
happen.
champagne can age or no.
You can. It's easier
Why?
to
Why do you?
age vintage wine
Real, yeah.
versus non-vintage, and champagne is hard to find actual vintages because Champagne region has such strict rules that a lot of time it's a lot of non-vintage because of what they have a window that they have to pick. And it doesn't matter what Mother Nature's did. Doesn't matter if Mother Nature gave them the rain they needed or the heat they needed.
Yikes.
All this, you have to pick in this window.
Yep.
So you gamble, a big gamble.
So that's why so much of champagne is non-vintage, because you just have all your wine and you're blending it to make something amazing.
Yep.
When they have those like golden years where Mother Nature did do what it needed to do, that's when the vintages start coming out. And that's why they're so much more expensive than non-vintage. Granted,
that's what I try to
champagne is
explain about
always
all of
more expensive. What?
That's what I try and explain about all wine when people ask, like, okay, if you're not getting like grocery store wine, that no offense to anyone who's drinking it, whatever. There's a lot of stuff in it, by the way. If you want,
That's where I started was grocery. Actually,
we all start with grocery store
I
wine.
know.
We
Like,
all
let's
start-
be okay.
Okay,
Fiesta
yeah.
Winery, just putting it out there. Don't
wine
judge.
is expensive because you can't control the narrative. It's
Mm-mm.
whatever, not just the land you're on, it's also what happens with the weather.
Yeah.
Fires in California and how that's going to affect their grapes. The freeze we had last year in Texas and how that affects their grapes. All of that goes into play.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny you're talking about champagne. I sent you guys a text saying, hey, think about your favorite champagne story or sparkling wine story. And I have to tell you, it reminds me, my mom, my sister, and I did one of the top cruises, which we're going to do a whole thing about because I love river cruising now. If I could afford it, I've done it all the time.
You're a
And
professional.
I'd be professional. We did the Rhine and we went through Alsace,
Mhm.
which I have a really hard time saying because I'm Texan. So I always want to say like Alsace, which is not right. Mary's face.
She's
Love
like,
you.
I was like,
We go through Alsace.
Are you okay,
and, like,
Mayor? Are you okay, Mayor?
It's okay. I would say it the wrong way after I had a few in me, so I don't know why I'm judging.
Drink a little bit more. Drink a little bit more.
Judge away.
So
I'll drink with you. I'll drink with you. Let me pour some
my
more
sister
already.
chose Switzerland that day, and my mom and I were like, we're ready just to do some really good wine tasting. So we go to Alsace, and it was so interesting because we had this amazing bottle of Cremant, which is their sparkling wine,
Mhm.
like $9 a bottle. But they were talking about how during wartime, when it was going between or actually throughout a lot of history between France and Germany,
Oh,
how
yeah.
they had to constantly relabel things, rename things because France was so you can't call this unless it comes from this region. And then when it would change countries, it was like, oh, we don't have to pay that tax. They were actually The winemakers
Like
are
taxing the word.
That region went back and forth so many times. So
Mhm.
many times.
Oh,
I actually have a
funny.
bottle of their Riesling. I think it's a 2007 from that area in my refrigerator right now.
So when I come
Oh.
visit, I
Wow.
love. Is it a nice jar? Like I always thought Riesling, like the blue disgusting bottle of syrup, and then I
No.
discovered dry Rieslings.
My Riesling's the best.
Oh, they're so good. And we
I
can-
did not, when I went to Germany, I did not meet a Riesling. I did not muscle my way
You
through.
didn't meet anything in Germany you didn't like.
No, no. I even like the beer. I mean, shit, I am not a beer
Please
drinker. and I
exit the
love
children from
beer.
the room.
Yeah, sorry.
German on that.
I told you, man. I told you, man. No, okay. So I do also have a question. Okay, so what's the
Okay.
difference between a vintage and non-vintage? Because that's
So-
maybe a stupid question, but you
No.
know.
Totally
that's
not, because especially when you don't know anything about wine,
Yeah.
you're like, this is me. So
I
I'm
just know it
drinking-
tastes really good what I like.
so I'm drinking a non-vintage. So that means
Okay.
that it can have who knows what grapes it can have from what
Okay.
what year. And it's like
Okay.
basically have barrels and you just kind of combine to make something magical. Whereas a vintage, it has to be from that year. So
Okay.
when you
Does
see
it have to be also a certain grape, or it just has to be from that year? Like it doesn't have to be like a Chardonnay grape or
there's
like
different rules on that
Chardonnay.
when what you call it. So like this says
Okay.
Chardonnay. So I'm very rusty on my things, but it should be 100%. Whereas US has different ways where you
Yeah.
can call
doesn't
something
the US
Chardonnay and it can still have up to a certain percentage of non-Chardonnay grapes.
I do feel like the US is finally getting to the point where they are being more thoughtful
Stringent.
and strict on what you can put on labels. Like even Texas now, Mayor, you like they finally informed like the Texas AVA, and they're like, you can't call it a Texas wine unless it comes from this many for Texas grapes. And
Yeah, because they
No.
get so many grapes from so many different areas.
So like when it's a reserve or an
to come
estate,
from-
when you see a state, it has to be 100% from that estate. So I can't be
Okay.
like, well, it's 98%. Nope, can't call it an estate. Back to what you said, you think you had a bad bottle.
yeah,
Ouch.
it was like 10 years old, and I was so
That's-
excited to open it, and then it was like,
Wah,
Here's the
wah.
thing.
I had bought
Um,
a cheap bottle to drink after that. Now it's good.
What happens though, sometimes with champagne, they start to become more yeasty as they
Mm.
age, and you get more of that roach and like all that. So like some people don't like that. So some people might think it is a bad bottle because of
Mhm.
the way it ages. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just what
Well,
you
it
like.
just didn't.
Well, and your taste is your taste too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I was more sophisticated, but I'm not.
Did you have it with cheese? Maybe I don't know.
No, we just open. I was so excited about that stupid bottle. Oh well.
Mm.
But it's funny because then I open this, and whenever I love smelling first. I'll be honest, this does not smell good. So
No, I'm talking about the nasty, skanky, sweaty smell.
I was a little like, oh, I'm gonna have to open a whole, like, I'm not gonna drink this. And it's really delicious. It's weird to me when it doesn't match up to the
Mhm.
The
scent.
scent.
Usually it does.
This
But
is
it's
like
visually
a fresh
pleasing.
Granny Smith apple.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
yum. Oh my God, that would have gone great with my
Like-
apple pies that I made this weekend.
Very crisp. Like right when you bite it, when it crunches and like
Yeah.
the juice shoots out. That's how
Okay, seriously, send me a picture of that label so I know.
I will.
Thank you.
I will.
Now that I've been drinking, this smells even better. I don't know.
Well,
But, I
so
mean,
here's
like
the
I
thing. Sometimes they have when you open up a bottle, it needs a little air. Sometimes, depending.
That's
And so I've had wine where I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna put that in my mouth. And then 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh. I'm gonna
It's like,
put this
hello,
in my
lover.
mouth.
It's like, where have you been all my life?
Hello, lover.
Ooh,
Yeah.
she's going back in. Go back in.
Go back in. Go back in. What else? What else we
Go
got?
back in. We need a chant. Go back in.
Yeah, go back in. I was like, so we were getting
That's
plane
like the
tickets,
ladies
right?
at the Oscars when they have their nails.
I was like, so Angela, we're going to get plane tickets now, and just help her out with her.
Yeah, I already
problems.
told you. This is how I'm gonna live in the wine cellar.
I'm not kidding. I have 25 cases of wine in front of the fireplace, and the kids are freaking out because
God.
Santa's not going to be able to come in. And then right here, I have another 20.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
your Santa's
not-
Santa's gonna be super generous at your house. That's not
Wow.
So
You know, Santa's helpers can help you out with that problem.
we can go
you
down.
know what? I don't want to
Help
show
us
this
out.
bottle. I want to show a different bottle. Hang on. I'm
Okay,
running
show a
late for
different
real.
bottle. Show a
You
different
show us the
bottle.
bottle you want to show us.
Yeah. I was like,
You
you're
were
running this
sure.
crazy train.
Let Mir join us today.
Yeah, I know.
As much as I think I know, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, well, there's always something to learn. Like she said, I mean, like the wine is a living thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
like, and I
you
think
know,
that's what some
I love-
people don't
I
quite
love that
realize.
concept of wine as a living thing. We need to make
Mhm.
sure.
It's a living thing.
Yes.
Forever.
Ever and ever. I was like, okay, I'll put that on my t-shirt ideas.
So
Have
oh,
like a little wine stain and be like, wine is a living thing.
I didn't realize. Okay, so going back to estate.
Okay.
So, oh, this is kind of a bad label. It says estate right there.
Okay.
Which
We
means
can zoom in.
people
We can zoom in. Editor,
Mhm.
zoom in.
for no property. And so it has a vintage. So this says 2018
Okay.
So that means all those grapes were picked in 2018.
2018.
from their estate.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah.
The hill. Where's the
And
hill?
it is, yeah, it's 60% Chardonnay and 40% Pinot. So, and it's made in the traditional way of champagne.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Mayor, is I always hear about Chardonnay grapes
Mhm.
or sparkling. What are some other good, like,
It's Chardonnay, Pinot, something with an M, and I can never pronounce it properly.
not Mourvèdre?
No.
No.
That's
Marseille. I was like, I'm trying. I'll put some French
That's a city.
accents on something. Yes, zip it, you. I'm trying to sound classy.
Je te plie, Blue.
Shibba shibba dooba doo.
I always mess it up, and I have to look at it.
This one
Uh,
doesn't.
It's MEUNIER.
Meunier.
Those are the three most common grapes in champagne.
Okay.
So
didn't-
when
But what
people
about the
say
little
they
champagne
made
ones
it-
that you see?
so when they make it like Méthode Traditional, that means they're using those grapes.
Okay.
But you can also, which can be found, but it's not as common from the Champagne region, is Pinot Gris, Pinot
Mhm.
Blanc, Petit Mesler, and another one that I'd never heard of or seen.
Mm.
But common is Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and then that one with the M that I can never pronounce properly.
Gotcha.
I'm not even gonna.
If you can't pronounce it correctly, there's no way.
I
Yeah.
can once I hear it, but then I like murder it when I say it.
Yeah. It's like you have to hear it first, and then you're like, I think this is what my mouth is supposed to do. Oh no, never mind. I forgot.
I took
So-
French in high school as my rebellion against taking. It was like the one thing I did not do was take Spanish. Oh, what is this?
Is that like a pie? Is that
Isn't
a
it
pie
enough?
bottle? It's a half. It's a split. So
Oh, I
it's
love it.
375. Little personal.
Meunier.
One shout out to Future Perfect because Sunshine is amazing.
Good morning, sunshine.
Love it.
Uh,
I love that label.
I
Oh my god, I
know.
love all her labels. She's
Talk
amazing.
about spreading joy. That doesn't that just make you happy?
Yes.
That's all she wants to do. is spread
Hey.
joy. And she does. So she has. It's mostly Pinot Noir. It has that grape with an M that I cannot pronounce, and Chardonnay. So those are the three most common.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it has so it's a good blend of the three.
I'm
common.
gonna say it's Meunier.
Let's do it. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I know you gotta get the ha.
That's the
So-
one thing I learned in France, in a French class. Meunier.
She's
Yeah.
so funny. So she changes the moon on all her labels
Oh,
to
okay.
match the wine. So because this one is a sparkling, she has it with diamonds. She says it so much better, I guess, because when Dom Perignon first was drinking something, he's like, "Hurry, come! I'm drinking the stars" or something like that. So as a
Oh,
little tilt her hat to them,
yes.
she does diamonds. So like her other labels have, I know I have some in there somewhere. She changes the moon, but it's always the
Oh.
rainbow.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
neat.
I love her.
I've never had Dom because I'm poor.
There is that
You
problem
know what?
too.
I've had it a few times. It's
I mean, tell the truth.
this is
You
where
were
we're
like,
gonna get all the negativity people commenting now.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's okay. We'll
good.
delete it. We'll delete it.
It's good.
I already said that.
It's good.
However,
But for the price point,
But I think that's a lot of things in life. Like
yeah.
there's a lot of things I've gotten where I'm like, oh, it's but then it's never as good as what it lives up to in your brain.
right?
I mean,
Yeah,
could
I think it's
I'd
built
rather
up
drink
too
my
much.
Pet Nat and be like, I'm so happy right now.
And like I said, I've had it. I've enjoyed it. I would never turn down a glass of it. Don't get me wrong. It is
Yeah.
it is done really well. But now, because there is so many producers around the world that produce
Yeah.
champagne and sparkling and all this,
Yeah.
you can find things to match your palate for like the fraction of the price.
Yeah.
But it's
Like it could be-
delicious.
Yeah. It's like it can be way less, it can be way more. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
like
I mean, I'm
It
gonna be
isn't-
honest. I would totally take a glass of Dom like in decent proposal style. That's all they would have to offer me, not even the money. They'd be like, oh, we'll give you this bottle of Dom. Like,
again,
Dom.
people, she can be had. She can be had.
But yeah, no, it's good.
Just don't worry. Snobby because it has to be expensive. I'm just snobby and bougie because I know what I like. And
Yes.
honestly, just like you said earlier, Mare, there's quite a few bubbles that I love more than champagne. Like champagne
Yeah.
is honestly not one of my favorites to order. It usually is more than I'd want to spend. I go for a bottle Prosecco any day at a restaurant over
Yeah.
champagne.
Have you had kava?
I love Cava.
Kava, yes.
That's actually Cava is what got me into bubbles.
So there's a restaurant in town that I like discovered on their list when I was like going through their massive book of like they have like 1,000 bottles of different types of wine. I'm like, wait a minute, this is $36. That's cheaper than the 2 cocktails I get. I'll take a bottle,
Yeah.
please.
Because you're economical. I always tell them, get the bottle. You can take it home.
Yeah.
Oh, always
Four
always
glasses.
the bottle.
Always
Always
take
the
Okay,
the
bottle.
excuse me. Supposedly it's 4 glasses out of a bottle, but depending on who's pouring, it could be 3, it could be 2, it could be 1.
Technically, it's 5
Well, and then
glasses in a
Oh,
bottle.
5.
Sarah just takes the bottle and is like, how's one glass? Oh.
Mhm.
I see
Ah.
nothing wrong with that. I am saving the environment. Less
How
water
about
is being
that?
used.
Having a party to save the environment.
It's so great. It's so great, especially if you really do love champagne.
Mhm.
I feel like Cava is probably the closest
Champagne,
not palate structure. I
Yes.
can't proper word.
champagne I
Closest
find
to-
sometimes, is it like creamy on the tongue?
Mhm,
Like champagne can be really heavy on the tongue,
mhm.
which I prefer Cava and Prosecco because it's lighter on the tongue to me. But you're right, Cava is a little bit heavier. And that's
Cava gives you that little like the yeast. A
so
little
Cava's
bit.
Spain and Prosecco's
Yes.
Italy.
Italy.
And
Mhm.
that's about as
Classy as we get.
that's about as much as I know.
And champagne is French
I
from the
approve.
Champagne region.
Here's a fun fact. My goal, I'm not a person with a bucket list per se,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but I guess my bucket list is to drink wine in every single state because every single state has a wine region.
Well, that's true.
So
I'm gonna kind of move a little bit. Bubblicious over there. That's you, Sarah.
Oh, thank you, because I totally forgot.
What's your sparkling wine story?
My sparkling wines. Well,
From all. And
I
alcohol.
mean, honestly, most of my sparkling wine stories start with mimosas.
We will have 2 mimosas.
I mean, that's when I really started to enjoy. And then of course, recently my palate has upgraded. I like cranberry instead of orange juice because you can drink more. And that's
I'm a
really
grapefruit.
It's good for your
oh,
kidneys.
great.
And all
Yeah,
the
good for the
pineapple,
kidneys and
grapefruit
bladder.
and pineapple. Well, not together, but
Ooh.
those are my.
Yes. grapefruit. But
Yeah.
cranberry is also good for all those UTIs she has.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, I flicked you off. It's like,
Are you gonna put the pixelated
yes.
first
Yeah.
sensor? Life tip:
Uh-huh.
put your juice in first, and when you pour the bubbles in, it will not fizz.
Oh, I will have to try that
Don't you
next
want the
time.
fizz?
Well, no, because like when you pour the bubbles first, you always have to wait for the bubbles to go down so you can like.
Oh yeah.
So if you put your little bit of juice in, and if you want to add more, Dan, you can. I'll judge
Why?
you.
I was like, why?
Well, all
Yeah, just put whatever juice you want, and then when you pour it, you won't have to wait for it to go down.
Okay.
Life hack. You're
No,
welcome.
thank you. My back. Yes.
Like I said, but I'm big on. I really am. Like I will open a bottle of sparkles anytime. I don't.
Yeah.
Don't
I mean, like,
subscribe to this. It's
Champagne
for-
Thursday. I mean, who cares?
Didn't I try that for a while?
I think you did. I think you did.
What did you try?
Champagne Thursdays.
Just because.
Good news. It's Champagne Thursday.
Well, that's the thing. I love champagne anytime. We always have a bottle in our fridge. Hence, that's why I knew I was going to drink something, but this was the bottle in there. I was like, oh yeah.
Mine too.
You're like, yes. And it was the best bottle too.
I always have a bottle of rosé, white, and sparkling because you never know what you want to have.
Exactly.
I learned that during COVID about sparkling and champagne and all that. I would say it pairs with
It really does.
99.9 of anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if like you're going out to dinner with a group of friends, I always suggest to bring a bottle either of sparkling or rosé because that's going to pair with pretty much
Anything.
at least anything, at least especially rosé, at least with like the starters. But sparkling will pair with everything, and it's because of that, like the bubbles, they like dance and clean your palate. It's just
Effervescence.
Mhm.
Are y'all ready to pop some champagne?